very good evening and welcome to World Now at 4. I am Peace Ogenegbawe. First, let's talk the headlines. On the headlines, diaspora Nigerians sue INEC over polls. Mozambique ex-president's son jailed. Still on the international scene, China loses strict COVID restrictions. And on sport, Hazard quits international football. Now the news in detail. Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari has assured the International Civil Aviation Organization, that is ICAO, that Nigeria will continue to make significant investments in the provision of aviation infrastructure for safe, secure, environmentally friendly, and sustainable economic development of the international civil aviation. Nigeria's President Buhari made the commitments on Tuesday in Abuja when he received in audience the ICAO President Salvatore Ciacintano. While recalling the long history between Nigeria and ICAO, the President, in a statement signed by his media aide Garba Shehu, declared Nigeria as being a member of the International Civil Aviation Organization since 1962 and has continued to make valuable contributions to the ICAO Council's work and its activities. The National Security Advisor Babagana Monguno has inaugurated an 11-man special investigative panel to look into cases of oil theft and oil losses in the country. The panel is chaired by the interim administrator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Major General Baron Diomo, with Mr. David Atta as secretary. Speaking during the inauguration in Abuja, Monguno said Nigeria was currently facing a monumental crisis, a monumental loss of revenue that ought to have accrued from the sale of crude oil, being the main source of its foreign exchange earnings. He said the alarming rate of vandalism and theft of crude oil had led to a significant decline in production, which has impacted the nation's revenue. Monguno added that the country's current crude production struggles to meet even 1 million barrels per day, adding that recent interventions by the security agencies had revealed massive illicit platforms of stealing ranging. Nigerians living in the United Kingdom and various parts of the world have dragged the President Muhammadu Buhari and Independent National Electoral Commission INEC to a federal high court in Abuja, seeking the enforcement of their fundamental right to vote in the 2023 general elections. According to the court's processes obtained by journalists on Tuesday, the plaintiff in the suit are Chikwe Nkemnacho and Kenneth Azubike Nkemnacho, both residents of the United Kingdom, but instituted the suit on behalf of other Nigerians in the diaspora. The plaintiffs in the suit are asking the court to stop Buhari and INEC from further proceeding with the 2023 elections until the Commission's voter registration register and biodatabase were updated to accommodate them as registered voters. Justice Inyang Ekwo billed to hear the suit as fixed January 19, 2023 for its mention and to allow the defendants file their respective responses. The four defendants in the suit are INEC, the chairman of INEC, Mahmoud Yakubu, Buhari, and the Federal Republic of Nigeria as first to fourth defendants, respectively. Meanwhile, the March 28 train attack kidnapped victims on Abuja-Kaduna Railway are demanding compensation from the federal government of the country to enable them start a new life. The demand came just 24 hours after the Nigerian Railway Corporation resumed train services on Abuja-Kaduna route. The deadly attack claimed the lives of 9 passengers, and speaking to journalists in Kaduna on Tuesday, the victims lamented that most of them lost their means of livelihood during the period they were in custody of the terrorists who kidnapped them during the attack.
I'm expecting much more from them, let's be sincere, because as a citizen which these incidents occurred to, I'm expecting them to at least come to our aid and think, what is happening with you guys? How are you coping with life? Okay, let's help you. Those people who lose their jobs, okay, come, let's sit down. You, both of you that have problems with your business, okay, come.
The federal government to come into our rescue, because the limit of the trauma we are facing now is too over, because of we don't have a capital to go to hospital to take care of our family. And then even now, I'm renting in my house. On the first day that I came back home, to care of our family, and then even now, I'm renting in my house. On the first day that I came back home, the owner of the land come and meet me.
On that fateful day, terrorists planted explosive devices along the rail track, and when the Abuja-Kaduna bound AK9 passenger train approached the point, the device exploded, causing the train to derail, leading to the death of 8 passengers. You're watching Africa World Now at 4 on Hills TV. When the news returns, news from other parts of Africa. Welcome back. Kenya government have announced its plan to abolish boarding schools next year for students up to grade 9, which includes primary and junior secondary schools. The Education Principal Secretary, Belio Kipsang, told Head Teachers Conference that the parents would have to take their children to day schools.
50% of your schools have produced a secondary school, and therefore it will make it easy for us to share facilities, and such facilities would include our human resource. But the most critical facility is that we shall be socializing our children to basic science, and therefore we shall require to share some of our...
Kenya has about 28% of its primary school children in boarding facilities, according to him, while noting that the number was relatively high compared with other countries. We now move to Mozambique, where the Mozambican court has today sentenced the son of Mozambique's ex-president, Armando Guebuza, to 12 years in jail. This is following a vast corruption scandal in which the government unleashed financial havoc by trying to conceal huge debts. The crimes committed have brought consequences whose effects will last for generations, according to the judge Efigenio Baptista, who found Ndami Guebuza guilty of embezzlement, money laundering, and criminal association in a scandal that arose after state-owned companies in the impoverished country illicitly borrowed $2 billion between 2013 and 2012. We now move to other parts of the world after this time out. To stay with us. Welcome back. United Kingdom Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has said he was shocked to read allegations surrounding the Conservative peer Michelle Moon after Keir Starmer used Prime Minister's questions to ask him how she appeared to have received millions from the profits of a PPE company.
How did his colleague, Baroness Moon, end up with nearly £30 million of taxpayers' money in her bank account?
Mr. Speaker, let me say, like everyone else, I was absolutely shocked to read about the allegation. It's absolutely right. It's absolutely right that she is no longer attending the House of Lords and therefore no longer has the Conservative whip. Again, the one thing we know about the honourable gentleman, he is a lawyer. He should know there's a process in place. It's right that that process concludes. I hope that it's resolved promptly. But I'll say one thing, Mr. Speaker, because I tell him, he mentioned, I tell him what is weak. I tell him what is weak is not being able to, I'll tell him, and that's...
On Tuesday, Moon's spokesperson said she was taking leave of absence from the House of Lords with immediate effect in order to clear her name of the allegations that have been unjustly leveled against her. We move from that story to business news after this timeout. Do stay with us.
Mr. Speaker, let me say...
Welcome to Business News on World Now at 4. 5 tankers containing 2,400 liters of diesel were on Tuesday gutted in fire in Farawa, Kwanayashi area of Kano State. According to the State Fire Service, the fire started from a generator spark as the portable generator was used to upload the product from the diesel tankers to surface tanks in an uncompleted building used as diesel storage area. The spokesperson of the State Fire Service, Saminu Abdullahi, said that no casualty was recorded in the inferno. However, he added that although 3 people were trapped in the fire, they had been rescued and taken to the hospital for treatment. He further stated that firefighters arrived at the scene at 0 hours 29 minutes after an emergency call from a staff of the company alerted them of the fire incident. The spokesperson said the firefighters were able to bring the situation under control, saving 3 diesel tankers and 9 surface tanks, and also curtailed the fire from spreading to other premises. The Senate has threatened to withhold the 2023 capital budget of 100 federal ministries, departments and agencies until they answer the queries raised against them by the Auditor General of the Federation. The Senate President Ahmed Lawan made this known on the floor of the House while ruling on a point of order raised by the Chairman, Senate's Public Accounts Committee, Senator Matthew Orogide. Orogide lamented that the agency's heads, who were public officers, were disrespecting the Senate, despite the fact that Section 88 and 89 of the Constitution gave the Red Chamber power to summon them. Some of the MDAs are the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, Ministries of Interior, Transportation, Mines and Solid Mineral Development, Information, Communication, Petroleum, Defense, Police Affairs, Sports, Works and Housing, and Women Affairs. Others are the State House, Presidential Fleet, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Independent National Electoral Commission, Northeast Development Commission, Nigerian Intelligence Agency, and the Nigerian Air Force, among others. Meanwhile, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has said that the multinational corporations are emptying the world of its natural gifts as he opens the COP15 Biodiversity Conference. According to Guterres, the conference is the chance to end the party of destruction. Governments will begin formal negotiation for this decade's UN biodiversity target at the conference at Montreal opening ceremony, according to the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who urged countries to agree on target conservative 30% of Earth at the conference. We now join Richard Bardon on Sport News. Stay with us.
A very good evening to you and welcome to Sport News on World Now at 4. I am Richard Badung. On sports, some athletes representing Kaduna State at the ongoing 21st National Sports Festival in Asaba were attacked on their way to their hostels from the Stephen Keshi Stadium. Reports gathered from an athlete said that athletes from Kaduna reports gathered from athletes from Kaduna who spoke on condition of anonymity that this took place on Tuesday morning around 3 a.m. in the Itsele Uku area close to the hostel. It was learned that the athletes didn't leave the stadium until past 1 a.m. that morning because the bus that was to convey them to their hostels was late. This adds to the complaints from the athletes about the transportation provided for the athletes at the Delta 2022 Festival. The issue of the distance of the hostels from the stadium had been raised by the athletes who were camped at the old NYC camp in Itsele Uku, with some athletes like the Taekwondo athletes from Lagos booking hotels for themselves. And away from that story now, President of the Cameroon Football Federation, Samuel Eto'o, has apologized for physically assaulting a man at the World Cup on Monday. In a statement on his Twitter handle on Tuesday, Eto'o said he was provoked by a fan who was probably an Algerian supporter as part of an ongoing harassment following Cameroon's qualifying win over Algeria in March. The shocking footage emerged online on Monday evening of the football legend and current Cameroon FA president attacking the man outside a stadium at the World Cup in Qatar. Algeria also filed a complaint over the performance of the referee in the qualifying playoff in Blida on March 28, in which Cameroon's Kari Toko Ekambi scored the winner with the last kick of the match. And away from that story, Belgium forward Eden Hazard has announced his retirement from international football. The former Chelsea star made the announcement following Belgium's shocking group stage exit at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. He said in the post, in quote, "I have decided to put an end to my international career. The succession is ready." Hazard was the captain of the Belgium squad and played all 3 matches for the European side in Group F. Belgium beat Canada, lost to Morocco and played out a goalless draw with Croatia to finish 3rd in the group. The 31-year-old made his international debut in 2008 and scored 33 times in 126 appearances. He helped Belgium reach the 2018 World Cup semi-finals, where they lost to the eventual champions, France, and beat England in the 3rd-place playoff. Before we leave, let's let you know that Lawn Tennis Association, that is LTA, has been fined £820,000 by the ATP for banning Russian and Belarusian male players from this summer's grass court event. The ban was imposed in reaction to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The governing body has also been warned it could lose its ATP membership if a similar decision is made next year. The association says it is deeply disappointed and has accused the ATP of showing a surprising lack of empathy for the situation in Ukraine. The punishment follows 6-figure fines for the LTA and All England Lawn Tennis Club, who organized Wimbledon, from the WTA for excluding female Russian and Belarusian players. The association has been fined $200,000 for each of the 5 ATP events it staged this year. The tour-level events at the Queen's Club and Eastbourne, and the Challenger tournaments at Southampton, Nottingham, and Likely. The Women's WTA Tour has already fined the LTA $750,000 for excluding the players from its grass court events in Nottingham, Birmingham, and Eastbourne. And that's your sport news on World Now at 4. Back to Peace Ogenagbawe for the rest of the news. I am Richard Badum.
Air Force aerial assaults on terrorist camps across 3 local government areas of Igabi, Chikun, and Birnin in the Kaduna State have led to the killing of many terrorists. The State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arwan, disclosed this in a statement today, and he, however, was silent on when the operations were carried out. Close air support was provided to ground troops conducting operations in Maidaro, Dogondawa, Damari, Saulawa, and Farin rural areas of Birnin. Armed reconnaissance was carried out along Kaduna-Birnin Road, Buruku, Dande, Damba, Angwan, Yako, Udawa, Manini, Kuriga, Gada, Fada, Kushaka, Polewaya, and Kamfanin Doka areas spanning Chikun and Beningwari local government areas. However, no suspicious activities was observed at the locations covered. And that's World Now at 4, but before we go, here are the headlines again. We told you that diaspora Nigerians have sued INEC over poll. Mozambique ex-president's son has been jailed. China is losing strict COVID-19 restrictions. And on sport, Hazard quits international football. Remember to visit us on Facebook at Hills TV, Instagram at Hills TV, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Hills TV. I am Peace Organic Bowie. Thank you for watching.